Happy Friday, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to this Friday night episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 602. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Hope everyone had a fantastic Friday. Tonight, we have, once again, SmackDown only tonight with Rampage airing tomorrow night, another Saturday with 3 hours of all elite wrestling, Collision, and Rampage tomorrow night. But let's get started with the action and talk about tonight. WWE Friday Night Smackdown, and SmackDown was live tonight in Jacksonville, Florida. Our commentators for the evening, Corey Graves and Wade Barrett. We start things off with one of the Queen of the Ring matches, and we have Bianca Belair defeating Tiffany Stratton to advance. I thought this one pretty good opener for SmackDown this week, with Bianca advancing to the semi-finals. I thought these two worked a pretty good match. And in the back, Byron Saxton is with Jade Cargill, the other half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and will also be competing later on tonight in the other Queen of the Ring match. And then she's approached by her tag team partner, Bianca Belair, who was just victorious, and they kind of teased them having a match against each other next week in the semifinals. And I will talk about that in just a little bit here on the SmackDown recap. And then in the back, we see the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, along with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, with Paul Heyman. Solo asks Heyman if he has talked to Roman Reigns. He says he hasn't, and Solo says he talks to him all the time, and he gives Paul Heyman a hug and tells him he loves him. And after that, we have Kathy Kelly with LA Knight. Yeah. Then he is interrupted by Carmelo Hayes. And both of them are in King of the Ring quarterfinal matches tonight on SmackDown, which leads us to our first King of the Ring match of the evening, and it is Tama Tonga taking on LA Knight. Yeah. Sorry, just gotta get that yeah in there whenever I say LA Knight's name. Pretty good match here. There's a distraction from Solo Sikoa at ringside, and that causes LA Knight to lose to Tama Tonga. Tonga advancing to the semifinals next week on SmackDown. And the next Queen of the Ring match, we have Nia Jax taking on Jade Cargill. And Nia Jax gets the victory in this one via disqualification to advance to the semifinals. And now we have the contract signing for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match taking place at King and Queen of the Ring. The undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and Logan Paul. Of course, he comes out with some of his buddies and his lawyer, and we find out that only Cody's Universal Championship will be on the line in the champion versus champion match next week at King and Queen of the Ring. Aldis gets upset with Logan Paul. Sorry about that. Lost my train of thought. And Cody tells him he can go to the back. He'll get the paperwork to him. And then, which ends in Cody Rhodes putting one of Logan Paul's buddies through a table, powerbombs him through the table. Of course, it's a contract signing, so you have to have somebody go through a table. Pretty sure that's a rule. And so far, I think the build between this match, Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul, actually has been pretty good. Logan Paul, remember the match that was in Saudi Arabia, actually, with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Logan Paul actually worked a really good match, and I think him and Cody could actually have a really good one next weekend at the PLE. And we have tag team action up next. DIY taking on Delgado del Fantasma. Just kind of an average match. DIY getting the win in this one. And our main event on SmackDown this Friday night, we have the Viper, Randy Orton, taking on Carmelo Hayes. The winner will advance to the semifinals of the King of the Ring and face Tama Tonga next week on SmackDown, which will be in Saudi Arabia. And pretty good match. I thought Carmelo Hayes, he did a good job of making him look good against a veteran like Orton. There was a spot where they went to the announce desk and Orton just slammed Hayes on top of it a few times, did not break, and Orton gets the win in this one to advance. And I thought Corey Graves and Wade Barrett did a good job of getting over how Randy Orton going to the semifinals against Tama Tonga, and that Tonga was the one that Orton actually has been wanting to face. So we will see Orton and Tonga in the semifinals next week. And also Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax as well. Once again, SmackDown also taking place in Saudi Arabia next week. And that was tonight's WWE Friday Night Smackdown, which I thought pretty good show. I wouldn't say anything really that great or that special, but pretty good show tonight. And once again, no Rampage tonight, which will be airing tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after Collision. So hopefully I'll be right here for a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic after both Collision and Rampage. And before I wrap up this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, maybe go over a little bit of pro wrestling news, and Hikaru Shida will be returning to TJPW, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, June 9th for their event. And also, I just want to mention real quick, yesterday was the whole thing with the QR codes at Thursday 4 p.m. And it was this thing where WWE's Twitch channel got hacked. and it would look like almost like a therapist or somebody in an office. And yes, tonight I did see the QR code flash on the screen. It was right about when they were about to go to a break during the DIY El Gato del Fantasma match. And like I've said on the podcast before, I tried one time to scan the QR code and really couldn't figure it out. I'm old. I'm not sure how all these fandangled QR codes, all these young whippersnappers these days do. And Jazz feels that her day will come to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'd say that is one that is definitely deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. Jazz had some good matches with Trish Stratus, Victoria, and that looks like about all the news I have for now on this Friday night. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And yes, not only the audio version, but have the video version of 360 Wrestling Fanatic tonight available on the 360 Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. So whether you're listening to it or watching on YouTube, in the comment section down below on YouTube, or if the podcast app you listen to has a comment section, you can leave your thoughts on tonight's Friday Night Smackdown and your predictions for next week's WWE King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live event and AEW Double or Nothing on pay-per-view a week from this Sunday. Just leave your predictions down below, or if you just want to talk anything pro wrestling, anything going on in the world of pro wrestling right now, pretty much as long as it's pro wrestling, you can talk about anything you want. And we'll be back tomorrow morning for Good Morning Wrestling fans. I will preview tomorrow's Collision, tomorrow's Rampage, and like I said, hope to be back right here tomorrow night, or hopefully a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic talking about those episodes of Collision and Rampage. Same 360 time, messed that up. Same 360 time, same 360 channel, right here, Spreaker, or wherever you listen to your podcast at. Once again, hope everyone had a fantastic Friday. Hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. And hope all of you will join me tomorrow morning for Good Morning Wrestling fans as well. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.